2025 is the first year where there's 75% of buyers that are millennial and Gen Z, and they're now officially more Gen Z in the workplace than boomers. Gen Z, the first thing that they look at when they are making a B2C, B2B, any kind of purchase decision, they don't go to Google. It's the first time that Google is losing market share to a generation. They go to social. Their likelihood to purchase from a brand that they follow or interact with people is double.
Now and in the future, people live on social media. That is just where they spend their time. And people are on social media to connect with people.
Teach people something, like give them something to learn, and they'll keep coming back. People were learning, and they could take that and apply it to different parts of their life.
I think it's time to jump into this thing. Irina, can you just tell us who you are and what you do to open up this conversation about personal brand?
Are we in a philosophical way?
Well, I mean, however you choose. I think it's pretty cool that, kind of what you are, but I also think it's pretty cool who you are. So pick either one and we could do the other one, maybe.
Okay, that's kind. I will start with what I don't even know which, what, where, why. But I am the CEO of Hootsuite, and Hootsuite is a social media management platform that helps enterprises not only manage all their social media in one place, but actually figure out how to drive revenue and conversion off all the data and signals that we help our customers centralize. So it's exciting. And even though there may be enterprises on the call today, I'm really excited to share some of the best practices that we bring to our customers that are 10,000, 100,000, 200,000 employees, to that everyday solopreneur SMB, because they can be just as applicable.
Heck yeah. Well, Jim uses it.
Yes. Love it, Jim.
Which is awesome. And then can you tell just the brief sort of other side of your background, which I think is so rad.
Yeah, I'll give it in 2 minutes. So I'm originally a Ukrainian refugee, which my whole life I used to say I'm from Russia or the Soviet Union, because explaining to people in second grade the difference between Ukraine and Russia was too complicated. And unfortunately now, for all the wrong reasons, everybody knows Ukraine. But I talk about how there's two lotteries in life, the geography lottery and the parent lottery. I lost the geography lottery and then ended up really winning the parent lottery that took me to the US. So we've been Ukrainian refugees since the 80s. And I feel really grateful to grow up in the US and have a chance to kind of get at so much of what the American dream is. And I've been really lucky in that there's been opportunities for me to take advantage of, and started in finance, realized that was not for me, even though did M&A and investment banking and private equity. And it was really critical for financial independence, because I had to put myself through college and pay bills, and learned a lot. And we can come back to that, because I think it's really important for any leader to get just a really strong financial acumen. But moved to the operating side of things. And I love building, I love teams. And there is nothing as infectious as setting a goal with a team and watching the progress that you can make. And so I feel really grateful to do what I love in a company that I love.
Well, you embody the American dream, and you are the CEO of the largest company of anybody we've had on, probably by 10x.
For now, they're growing still. Yeah, they'll catch up.
Yeah, exactly. But everybody wants tactics. They want to know how people are doing what they're doing. And I think one of the most interesting things about you, to me, is that I don't see many other CEOs of companies your size actually making content, like first person content on LinkedIn.
What a mistake, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or social media in general. There's the classic Elon Musk example, but I think he's in his own, stratosphere or whatever. And then there's no one else. And then there's guys like me.
Did you just put me and Elon Musk in the same sentence? I'm a taker of that. I'll leave it.
Exactly. Yeah. Next up.
Yeah. Honestly, same thing. What's the difference? Yeah. What is the difference?
There's no difference. No difference. I'm sure he agrees. Casey, yes, a recording will be available tomorrow. Pete just dropped it in. So, Irina, we had dinner, I don't remember how many months ago. It was maybe
almost a year ago now.
Maybe a year ago in New York. And it was such a great dinner. It was so interesting. It was a bunch of CEOs of companies of all different sizes. And it was like a bunch of, it was like a Clay guy and an Apollo guy, and then you, and then the JustWorks guy, and then just a great group of B2B people. And we spent some time. I felt like the least experienced and successful at the table, but I had like all of these LinkedIn stories, and then I started noticing you making a bunch of
Being less experience.
no, making a bunch of LinkedIn content. So had you been doing it before that, or like did that start around that time? Like when did this journey for you start?
Yeah, I mean, I'm originally from the Soviet Union. You don't share things. You don't go on social media and talk about things. And then I went into finance, which you just don't like. This is not what Wall Street is like. And so it took me a really long time to get comfortable because, like most CEOs, the only thing I kept thinking about is I'm going to mess up. I'm going to say something wrong. I'm going to ruin my brand. I'm going to hurt my business. I'm going to do something that's going to affect, the teams and people that spend so much of their time and put their career in our company. And it took me a minute to get comfortable, and the reality is the math kind of drove it for me. So I have a finance background. I am a sucker for some good data. And when you started looking at the data that 77% of buyers look at company and executive social media content, that the new generation of Gen Z will not make purchases from businesses that don't have an active social media platform. And when you just follow the math, it kind of became a no-brainer. And especially for me, because it was really difficult for me to meet with all these CEOs and CMOs and CROs and talk to them about how social media is impacting their business and their pipeline. And it felt very two-faced of me not actually drinking my own champagne or eating my own dog food or whatever it was. And so I slowly kind of started putting myself out there. And the image I would give you is like the kid going into the pool. You put the toe in, then you put two toes in, and
Yeah.
then by the end of the month, you put your whole foot in, and then this is how it went. And so I started with, commenting, and yours was one of them. I mean, you're somebody who's just been so out there, and the way that you show up on social is the way you show up in real life. You're just authentically kind of yourself, like very disparaging of yourself, like very just open and vulnerable. And I feel like when you see that, I would comment, I would interact, right? And I would start slowly doing that. And it was a little bit of the gateway drug in a way, is that through this posting, I slowly started to get more comfortable. And then, similar, I'm sure, to your story, it just evolved because then this magic starts happening where, we kind of commented at each other. Then we met at a dinner and they're like, oh, I know you. And you don't really know each other, but you kind of do through social. And it just started kind of getting a life of its own and feeding itself.
In when, how long ago was that? Like what? Because
About
by the way, everybody, I just dropped her profile link in the chat so you can see the kind of stuff she's making and the kind of engagement she's getting. And it's fantastic. So like how long ago did it start?
I started getting serious probably about in the beginning of 24. So it's been almost, like a year and a half. And serious meaning like I would actively comment. I would spend probably 30 minutes a day and really focus on it. I started by commenting and then I started going into posts. I found posts really hard for me. I'm obviously fluent, but English is still a second language to me. And writing content, I would just edit it and over edit it. Then I'd send it to somebody to edit for me because I was like, can
Mhm.
someone proofread that I'm not doing anything bad? Then I'd send it to another person to make sure that they edited the editor. And it was just starting to turn into this whole thing that it's not meant to be. And that it just took me a while to get comfortable. And for me, video really unlocked it because I'm much more of a verbal communicator than a written communicator. And so when video started really going, I thought, okay, let me try this. And I'm usually traveling, as we talked about before. And so I'm either on the back of a cab or in an Uber or walking to a meeting. And I thought, okay, I have these like dead 4 or 5 minutes. Let me see. I have this thought. I just came out of the meeting or I came out of a CEO dinner. I came out of this. And I just started recording it. And it just was really natural and authentic to me. And I usually could just do it on a first take. And it wasn't always perfect, but it was kind of raw and it is what it is. And it just allowed me to get some velocity going.
Yeah, it's super engaging, your video stuff that you do, by the way. I just think it's so good. And I want to know how you actually, how does it go from you're blushing? Is that
Art.
yeah, so how does it go from I'm sitting in a cab to oh, I should make a video LinkedIn post, to, oh, this is my idea for it, to like, you've got captions on it, I think, like to then the final product that then has a written asset with it as well, to then it getting posted. Like,
Yeah.
what the whole machine?
It's a little bit of a journey, and kind of, if you look, it started with just like the videos. LinkedIn does auto captioning, so a lot of that happens for you. But now we've kind of have a person that helps add the owlie on top when I say let's ruffle some feathers. So there's like a little work that goes into it now on the other side. But in the beginning, you could see some of it was just record, post, and then someone does help me write out the video. Sometimes if I'm inspired, I'll write it myself. It depends kind of where I get the inspiration. Like the one I just recorded before walking in here, I was talking about with the team how I fired myself in June, as a CEO, and rehired myself. And part of it is just really not hitting my own expectations of what I wanted to achieve. And I kind of thought, if they brought in a new CEO, here's some of the decisions that person would make. And I thought, why am I not making them? And it's because I was just scared of the repercussions of making some of those decisions. And whenever you prioritize, that means something gets deprioritized. And that's scary when you deprioritize something. And so, and then I just was looking at how I ran my ELT meetings, and it was just too long. It wasn't as productive. It was more backward facing. It was just like I wasn't meeting my own mark. And so I kind of got in this you're fired mentality, you're rehired. And I came in fire blazing that after 4th of July, I cut my ELT in half. I just am on this action oriented. We do this weekly call. I'm playing Elvis's, a little more action, a little less conversation. Like I am just following through. And so I shared that with our people managers. We have a monthly call with them. And I thought I was just being vulnerable and kind of sharing. And it ended up really being one of the topics people related to the most. And then they told me about this hot chat thing, that apparently that's a real thing. This is that people fire themselves mentally and do. And so I was walking into this IBM meeting and I just recorded it. And so I recorded it. I sent it to kind of my social team. They're going to turn it into a video, and then we'll post it. But most of the stuff that we create kind of comes either verbally from me, or sometimes I'll get inspired and write it.
Yeah. Do you script it out? Like, I can't tell if you're like reading
I'm not.
teleprompter. You're so tight.
Do
And
you read, Adam? Do you read?
no, I don't do that. But like, I'm just like, she's like the best talker of all time, or she's got a script. So you don't have a script.
No, I love how
Nailing
Pete cracked up when I asked you if you are scripted. Like, it was the funniest comment I could have asked. Like,
It's
his
just
head literally flung back. Like, are you kidding? No, I think I'm really similar to you, that there's sometimes that I like the team's like, oh, this is really good content. And they'll write a paragraph for me, and it's the worst. I am
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
at doing scripted things. And so what I've gotten in a habit is sometimes I'm literally in a meeting and I'll get a good idea. I'll just write some words down so I remember. But the best stuff I find is the one that just really flows naturally, and I don't have to think about it, and it just comes from, brain, mouth out.
Yeah.
I think that scripted stuff like really amplify, like if you were going to script a video and have it take off, like it greatly amplifies the acting skills required to actually make a great video. Like you have to prepare it and then make
You
it
have to memorize it. You have to like I do most of my stuff first take. Like, who has time to do 4 takes on this stuff? Like I have a job, And
Well-
so it's first taken out. Sometimes I stutter, sometimes I have a thing. So like it's not perfect. It's fine. But on script, it takes me like 10 takes to get 60, like not even 10 seconds of content out, because I'm like, wait, what was the word? What do I have to do? It's too much effort. I don't have it in me.
Yeah. And everybody, I just dropped an example of I assume one taken done, because your last 6 or 7 posts were just photos. So I'm sure people are scrolling there. What are you talking about? That is what I'm talking about. Going back to the one about you firing yourself, do you know how good of a hook that is? Just,
Actually,
whoever,
can
whoever
you help me? Because I think you are this like amazing person at hooks. Like you are so good at, and this is why I like the written word. It's just not my style. But I read all your stuff, and you get me in that first line. And I'm like, wait, what? He did what? Like you're good at it. I might send you this video so you can give me a.
You can send it to me. One thing I will suggest that is a tool that will probably help you disproportionately more than everybody else is I've been writing my posts now and then dropping them in Claude, and then saying the prompt is something like, my name is Adam Robinson. I'm a B2B SaaS CEO and content creator. My personal brand is wildly transparent, polarizing, and provocative. can you help me make this post even more of that?
Oh, I love that.
And then it's like specifically help me with the hook, the body, in the takeaway, right?
I can also use Hootsuite GPT. So I have no
Ah,
to not be doing that. I love that. Yeah, we call it Owly Writer or Owly GPT, but yeah, that's a great idea. The
or
hook,
you could use Hootsuite GPT to just tell the same thing. But
well, you know what's
put
funny?
the Hootsuite guardrails on it, because otherwise it's going to be like, fuck you. If you tell it to be Adam Robinson, it might go off the rails.
I know the minute you said polarizing, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going with polarizing. But you know what's funny that you said is that that hook mentality. Like one of the things that held me back from posting is I'm not an extreme person. And so I don't talk in hooks. Like I don't naturally talk in a polarizing way. Like I'm trying to create consensus. I'm trying to build harmony. I'm trying to drive teams together. Right. And so for me, one of the things that I think an editor kind of tweaked my social team when I would write the stuff, they would just tweak a few words that would just make it a little bit more sensational. And
Yeah,
I think now with Chat GPT and some of these tools we have out there, it can make that barrier a lot more easy.
for sure. Earlier you said that it was just really hard for you to write posts. I feel that. It was so like I was working with ghostwriters before, and I was doing only video and then having a ghostwriter write the content. And then I started working with this dude, Alec, and
Mhm.
like paying him out the nose. And he's like, I'm not going to write for you. It's going to be much better if you write. And I like hated it. It was just so hard. And he's like, dude, I promise you in 90 days, these are going to like come super.
Okay, was he right?
So he was right. It's not typically difficult for me to write anymore. I think with probably how tight you keep your schedule, the way you do it is probably for you the way it should be, but
How long does it take you to put a post together?
it depends on which one. Like I just wrote one which was actually one of my like favorite posts. I think it was 2 posts ago. It was about uh Unified GTM and Koala, these two prospecting tools in our space, how like one raised a bunch of money with 5 million ARR and one shut down in like the same week. That one probably took like 45 minutes, but it was like really long, you know? Like it was like it was too long.
45 minutes?
Yeah, but it was like a 5,000 word post. It didn't even fit in.
Nick loved that post. So good job.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you, Nick. I would say on average, so it's nothing is going to be anywhere near as efficient as what you're doing if you're good at just breaking your phone out and doing it. But the point being, I wanted to kind of say this for the audience. Who in the audience also struggles with just writing these posts? That's my question. Like, does anybody out there struggle with it? I struggle with it a ton. Uh, Jed does,
Oh,
yeah, for
nice.
sure.
Yeah,
It's
we're not
like
alone.
it's Irina, it's not just you. It was me. Everybody else, it just sucks. I think if you're great on video, which you are, like that's the super hack because like you can come up with ways to get people to polish up the finished product. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of, touch on that. Um,
I think the beginning process is like figuring out what things actually resonate, what types of stories, the types of posts in terms of like how you're arranging it that take off. And then you can kind of like, it's more like Legos, but in the beginning, it's very much like painting. It's like, oh man,
Totally.
totally
But
blank.
we see it also with all of our enterprise customers. So like the funniest thing is when we were thinking of like what do we build? Like how do we innovate our own products? And one of the number one pain points that showed up for all of our customers is the blank sheet problem. Like staring at a blank sheet was just so tough that even like now AI is everywhere, but like we launched our AI version like 2 years ago, like 2.5. And when I showed up, basically I had nothing to do with it. They were ready to launch it. And part of it was because people just like can't stare at a blank sheet. And so we use all these listening tools that says, oh, okay, well, Adam really liked these posts or he's listening to this content or these things went to Pete. And so then it basically says, based on your profile, based on your history, here's some ideas. And then you can edit it. And I feel like editing is such an easier way to do things. I mean, it's how we use Chat GPT now, but
yeah, here's my, if I'm just, so what I try to do to not be completely stuck anymore is I have a Notion doc where I keep a running list of ideas.
that's so funny. So does Nandini.
Yeah. So when I only was so like I used to just do week to week and I would have my 2 or 3 posts I was trying to write and I would often show up with 2 or 3 posts and not really be able to write any of them. Now it's like I have at least 10 there. So like
Oh wow.
I can write 1 of 10 of these posts and I never get
I
right.
do that in my draft email.
Yeah. So that's like one,
Highly technical. You might not use that technology, but
right. So that's one. Yeah. Any way you keep the list, I think a list is helpful. And then another thing that I think is just like enormously valuable that's kind of like editing, but not really, is like I tell everybody this. Go through all of my posts that have over 1,000 likes. Generally, I'm using some template, right? Like there's just this way I'm writing it. There's an architecture of that post, right? There's a way that the ideas chain together, right? If you can look at the posts that I've made that have over 1,000 likes and apply your story to that architecture of ideas, for lack of better terms, it will probably do really well. And the odds are that I got that from someone else.
totally. What
You
is
know?
it? Imitation's the best form of flattery.
Yeah.
But it's also I was catching up with some of the LinkedIn executives, and there's like some tips that they threw out, and which we still don't do 1 or 2 of these, but ones that have a ton of emojis never perform well. Anything that is bolded doesn't get captured by their algorithm.
Oh,
You
really?
need to have caption on. And then like the paragraphs, like you break yours up, like there's a sentence and there's like 2, then there's a sentence. Like those do the best versus just like straight blobs of words.
Yeah. And I think that that's a principle that I have for writing web copy in general.
Mm.
My sort of governing philosophy for web copy is that you need to write in a way to where if the ultimate lazy man scans the page, he gets it, right? And like large blocks of text are not that. So like if they hit see more and it's a bunch of large blocks of text, they're not going to read it because it just feels heavy.
Totally. And then I think you do this well, but like last line first, and then you tell the story.
Yeah.
That's what during those like every Monday, I know there's a LinkedIn ideas call with Adam and Alec and Diana and the RBDB and retention team. And like that before I sat in on that meeting for the first time, I was like, oh, they must be like going through and editing posts. But actually what it is like a open room where they just throw out the most ridiculous
You
hooks.
do the same stuff. So once a week I do the same thing with my team. It's so funny you say that. I didn't know you do that. But yeah, it's just like, oh, I had this weird idea. And they're like, oh, well, we had this weird idea. And we kind of just riff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Some,
That's
some
helpful.
work, some crash
Does
and burn.
anybody else do ideas meetings with anybody for social? I'm curious about that. If anybody,
But I also think like people spend a lot of time talking about the things that work. There's a lot that doesn't. There's a lot that you think is, and it just like falls into like the silence. And you're like, oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. In LinkedIn in particular, these days, I am surprised more frequently than I used to be about stuff that I thought was going to be good, but just like didn't take off at all.
Same,
What are you going to do?
same.
And then,
On
yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
And then I'm also seeing like that post about Unify and Koala. I'll drop it in the thing when I get done with the sentence. As an example, it was super slow in the first 24 hours relative to like
Which is against all rules, right? Because one of the things that we monitor is like the first 60 seconds. If it kind of like the first 2 minutes, if you don't get enough visibility in the first 2 minutes, like we used to take posts down and repost them. And yet, like, I mean, their algos change so fast that.
yeah. Yeah, but this one,
Go ahead.
it-
Sorry.
yeah,
dropped
this one's now at 65,000 impressions and 320 likes. And like it was like I would have considered it. I mean, I think we might have taken it down if we didn't think that it was just like really, really better than normal content for me. Like just it's real industry analysis. Like there was real insight in there. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's a weird game.
Yeah. But Nick, like if you want any other tips, one of the biggest ones, especially in LinkedIn, is commenting. The algo really, really picks up commenting.
Can you elaborate on exactly?
Yeah, like I think a really good rule to follow is 70% comments, 30% self-posting. So even if you're not in this place where you are ready to start posting, you can actually drive a lot of awareness by commenting on other people's posts and I mean, like leaving a smiley face isn't enough, but like writing a sentence and then really engaging helps get your own profile distribution. And especially if you're an active poster, commenting really extends that distribution. And so I don't think people think of commenting as that much of a big deal, but you can really get most of the job done with just being really strategic in your commenting.
So what does that look like? I have several questions. One, do you have a list of people that you're like commenting to go after? Two, are you actually doing this, or can you trust anyone on your team to actually say things how you do? And then, of course, what I think everyone is thinking who's listening to this is, what about these AI commenting tools?
What is the last one? What about these?
What about these AI commenting tools? Can I just use those and, kind of spam people's whatever?
I think I would say it's like overall, for some reason, I just recorded something like this. I have this like rant that people forget just like etiquette in the digital world. Like if you're not going to go up to someone in the physical world and be like, Adam, let me tell you about all my awards. Let me tell you why I'm so great. Let me tell you, if you don't talk to me right now, I'm not, this is the last chance you have, Adam. One more chance. And then I'm not giving you, like, you would never interact with a human being in this way. And yet on social, like all of us get these like 20 DMs. This is your last chance. I'm good. I'm good, buddy. I got it. It's my last chance. I'll be okay. And so how do we just bring a little bit more humanity to some of the digital world? And I think that goes with AI. Like you would edit some things before giving a speech. You would definitely use AI in your everyday real life, and you should use it in the digital world. And I think commenting can help in some things if you're figuring out what to comment or how to comment. But I think if you let it go loose, you're just not going to build authentic human relationships. I think people will feel that, and we have data behind that. But I also think that, yes, to your previous question, I have gotten much more tactical on how and where I spend my time. So when I first started, I was learning. So I was kind of throwing spaghetti against a wall and seeing what were my content pillars. Like I tried different things. I learned what I really dislike. Um, and I'll give you an example, but I did this post about us immigrating to the US, and I celebrate December 13 every year because it's the anniversary of us kind of landing in America. And I hated that post. I did it in a very authentic, vulnerable way. I shared my stateless card and I thought it was just like personal. But the comments that I got on all of it was, we're so proud, you're an inspiration. And I get it, those are really positive comments, but that's just not what I go to my LinkedIn for. Like I'm there to help teach, and I want people inspired. I want them to take action. I want them to learn something. And I didn't want to do a post where all I got was praise, and it gave me the ick. And I realized like it performed really well, but I just learned like that is not, I'm not okay with it. And so we have a rule: no awards, no, like none of this, anything that a post reaction is, go Irina, we're so proud of you. We're like, no, we're not doing that. We want the, oh, I learned, oh, you inspired me to do this. I went and did this. I learned this. And I think you're really good at doing that. And in human life, I don't want these people constantly telling me their awards. Like, why would I be sharing some of that? Right. But I gotten better on what my content pillars are. And then we're really thoughtful on going after and commenting in the right places. So we have, our outbound customer list. We have the conferences that I want to speak at. We have kind of the panels I want to get invited to, and it works. Like I got on a few podcasts because I was just commenting and engaging. I got invited to Keynote because we were commenting and engaging. And I mean, at a very high macro level, I think we did some research and math, and about 37% of all our leads that we get, and we're 70% enterprise, like we get thousands and thousands of enterprise companies, and 70% of them, sorry, 37% of them touched my social in some way.
I want to.
That's unbelievable, by the way.
It's crazy, especially given the scale of Hootsuite. It's
Yeah.
like
It was wild. I was like, wait, what? Like, when sometimes you sell products and you're like, wait, this actually works. And you're sitting there like, that's really cool.
it's usually the things you don't expect to. It's very,
Yeah.
very odd how that happens.
Very much.
What's the reaction from the executive team? So, like, I mean, number one, I mean, this is kind of two questions. First of all, when you start posting 18 months ago and you start being, doing these more vulnerable posts, getting the word out there, what was the reaction from the executive team? They're like, "Oh yeah, this is great. We've been, we've been wanting a CEO that does this." Were they hesitant? I'll stop with question one for now. But yeah.
It also takes a minute to go. I think people just expect immediate satisfaction on everything in life these days. And it wasn't like one post or 1 week or 1 month. It took just continuing to stick with it. And probably by month 5 or 6, I started to really see the impact of it. By year 1, I was like, "Oh, this shit really works." And then year and a half in, I'm like seeing the deals that we're influencing, right? So if I stopped at month 1 or 2 or 3, I would have never gotten kind of to the other side of it. Ironically, the team and the company has responded so well. So, and I just did a post on this, but I think as leaders, we're constantly figuring out how do you communicate in a way that anyone will listen, just like anyone, someone out there, can you hear what we're doing? And so I do a weekly call for 15 minutes with our whole company, like 1,500 people basically join this call, depending on the time zone they're in. And it's 15 minutes, it's TikTok style. Like I bring all my energy. I'm like entertaining, like dance for me monkey kind of style, like anything to just drive alignment and communication. And we have good attendance and I get some emojis and it's fine. Then I post on LinkedIn and I cannot tell you how many owls reach out on Slack of, oh my God, I feel so seen, or I didn't know we were doing this, or I didn't know we did this, or this is great. I'm like, what? What do you mean you didn't know? I've been talking about it for 4 weeks. And so it's been like this secret like gift of being able to communicate with owls. Like they just are reading my social posts probably more than listening to anything else internally. So that's been fun. And then even executives, I think that there's this feeling, and I hear this a lot from CEOs or people like, oh, well, if you're going on social, it's vain or you're just promoting your own brand. And I don't view it that way. Like I go on social to get all of my news. Like I listen to Adam. I listen to a lot of people and I don't think, oh, that person's vain for taking time to teach me and share something. And so it's been fun to see my own team feel like, okay, I'm going to go out and do it too. And they're following and they're engaging. And so it's kind of been a little bit of a icebreaker in many ways.
You say that about your employees reading your social feed more than they pay attention to internal stuff. Like, I just can't believe, just conversations that I've had with our executive team. I'm like, where did that person hear that? They're like, oh, they're reading your LinkedIn. I'm like, but like,
But what about all this other
yeah,
stuff?
exactly. Like we're like spending so much time trying to like get everybody in this one place, and you just know that it's like glazed over. Okay, the obligatory Monday meeting or whatever. Yeah, that is this huge benefit too. And I think one of the amazing and beautiful things about it is like, and this may come across as sounding vain, but like the parasocial relationship that gets formed with your prospects because of what you're doing in the way you're doing it, right? Like you kind of said about me, I think it's the same about you. It's like I had dinner with you, and it's the exact same vibe that's coming across in those videos in the cab that came across at dinner because that's who you are. Like your employees, if they choose to just absorb a lot of your social feed, they're getting that part of you in a way that they never could, especially at a 1,500 person company.
Totally.
I mean,
And this also goes back to like, you can't outsource this to a group of people. Like you
yeah,
just can't. Like then it's going to be inauthentic and you're not going to get some of this magic.
right. And I don't have 1,500 employees. I only have like 30 or something,
Not
but
yet.
they're all exactly, but they're remote. So it's kind of they get to see me twice a year, and it's great for that reason. And video is, I think, I love video too, and I haven't been doing a lot of it for kind of like just I'm in Aspen reasons. Like I'm just like not in front of
Life happens. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. I don't like the way that like doing a talking head looks on my little
Yeah.
Mac camera. But I love video because it just creates this connection that nothing else can. It's like text is good and it's amazing to be a great writer. Like audio is one better because I think there's something about like listening to people just talk to each other, these podcast format where it's interview or whatever, where you just feel like you're becoming friends with them.
Totally.
You know what I mean? It's like
It's authentic.
I know Joe Rogan. Like,
We're friends.
yeah, exactly. But
It's weird. I invited him to my birthday. I don't know why.
why didn't he come? And then video is just this next level thing, where
Yeah.
you really
Well, because it captures tone. Like, I think one of the things that's so difficult for me in the written word is like, it might be like I could read that with a grin. I can read it with a smile. I can read that anger, like depending whatever voice is in my head versus a video, you don't need to think about the voice. You're looking at my tone, right? Like even a small example, I was on an all hands last week and we have this thing called Wellness Week where we shut down the whole company for a week. And I'm a little confused on what day of the week it is sometimes, what week of the month it is. And I missed a week. And so last week I was wishing my entire employee base a great wellness week for this week. And it's like the last week of July. Like it's not off, it's working. And I easily could have written back on Slack and been like, hey guys, just kidding. Clearly, my brain is somewhere else. And instead I took 10 seconds, did a video where I'm clearly laughing and embarrassed that I don't know what day of the week it is. It took 10 seconds. I sent it out and like, there's not a, oh, she's like in a mood or there's no interpretation of the words.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
We've also talked about like this compared to any other, awareness driving channel, like the level of trust and admiration that people have for you. Like, I mean, have you gotten stopped yet? Like if people are like, oh my God, like, I need to tell you how much your posts have helped my journey as a business person.
I think when it happens, you're just kind of like, oh, that's really nice. But I've had people reach out in non-weird, creepy ways that have just been authentic emails, and I've gotten on the phone and coached them. I've like turned into like mentoring sessions that we've done. So like I think it's really powerful to give back, but I think one of the things where I've seen it show up the most is with our customers. Like our team will reach out and say, hey, can you reach out to the CEO? And I'm like, I don't know him. And they're like, it doesn't matter. They know you, or they read this, or they want to use your content to get their CEO posting. And so I've had all these magical meetings happen and access to people that I would have never thought possible without kind of just putting yourself a little out there.
Is there like I mean, when you think of it in hindsight, it's like, well, no wonder like all of this content is driving, over a third of the leads coming through. Is there any concern? So I've talked to much smaller founders. I mean, like startup founders who, before they're really even off the ground, are afraid that if they spin up this social channel, it's going to make it harder to, exit, whatever. It's going to just put more pressure or reliance on them as really this content creator founder. You are at such a grander scale than those people that I've talked to, and people in a lot of people in the audience here. Has that been brought up at all by the executive team? Is that even something you think or care about, or is it just like, hey, this is all net positive, like we're going to run with this?
I think it's a net positive, and I'll respond two ways to that. I think one of the things, if you were to ask me my first time CEOing, when a person would leave, I would take it really personally. Like when any employee would leave, I'd be like, what did I do wrong? Why are you leaving? Why are you personally breaking up with me? And second time around, if I can't bring growth and if I can't bring you learning opportunities where you can go and expand your career, I will help you find a job somewhere else. If I work with you close, I don't know every single person, but if I have a relationship with you, I'm okay with investing in you as a person, as a relationship. And I hope you come back around one other time that I see you. But like my job, our job as leaders is to make opportunities available, right? To grow the business so that people want to learn and can learn, and give me more than a day, right? Like give me 6 and 12 months, 18 months. If I'm not delivering, then how do I help you? And I would say the same thing kind of has changed for me in social media. I think that there's this old view of when people are posting, they're just building their own brand so that when they leave your company, they can take their brand with you. And my response is, why do you care? Okay, so they're building their own brand. Your job isn't to put them in a prison cell and make sure that they can't leave. Your job is to go figure out, how do you grow them? How do you develop them? How do you give them more opportunities? And if they want to use this as a channel to build the company's brand, and by the way, a side product, maybe they're building their brand, great. Your job isn't to restrict them. Your job is to help them grow. And so I don't think about it in that way, Pete. I love when our owls post, and we have people that have launched podcasts and have done talks and have gotten customers with their own initiative. And like, they're just doing this stuff, but also it's fun to teach. They see how hard it is. Like for me, selfishly, I love it because then they can live in our customers' brains, right? Like as you live it, I appreciate how hard content is. I appreciate some of the challenges our customers have. So I don't know. I think it's just a next level kind of leadership. Like you want your people to grow and expand, and your job is to find ways to keep them there in other ways, not to keep them in a box.
Yeah, I think that question will be like ridiculous in 5 years. It's like, well, of course we want everybody to have a presence, or as many people as we can, especially on the customer facing side. Like it's a no brainer. But
It's also critical. Like we see it with and we had these two really big healthcare companies merge, and they had about 100,000 company employees combined, and they were having some real negative sentiment on the merger. And through our listening tools, they were hearing it, and it was starting to materially impact them. And they leaned into employee advocacy, put 100,000 people to work, and kind of let people talk about why they were happy. Like nurses were posting about why this merger was really important for them and why they were grateful for it. And all of a sudden, in 36 hours, the sentiment went from negative to positive. Or like we have the gym group is a customer of ours, and they didn't have enough branding dollars or marketing dollars, and they wanted to get creative. So they put their own employees on social and said, hey, why don't you just share your experience? And it was driving all this subscription and people showing up to buy memberships. And so I think the companies that get it actually get a real ROI on it.
And so this is something that seems just really obvious to me, but I understand why big companies kind of haven't gotten there yet. It's like now and in the future, people live on social media. That is just where they spend their time, right? And people are on social media to connect with people. Not, you know what I mean? So it's like you can be a brand and try to run an ad on this platform where someone is there to connect with a person. But to me, it seems very obvious why you would want the people at your company feeding those platforms with what the audience of those platforms want, which is people, like this raw authenticity of humanity. Like you as the CEO of Hootsuite doing what you're doing right now, like it's fine, you have content pillars and everything else, but like just the fact that it is you doing it is like so much more effective than what your marketing team could do.
And there's math behind it. Like I'll throw some stats at it, but this is the first year, 2025 is the first year where there's 75% of buyers that are millennial and Gen Z, and they're now officially more Gen Z in the workplace than boomers. And Gen Z, the first thing that they look at when they are making a B2C, B2B, any kind of purchase decision, they don't go to Google. It's the first time that Google is losing market share to a generation. They go to social. They want to see and it's not just the brand, they want to see what the executive team stands for, what is being posted on it. And like their likelihood to purchase from a brand that they follow or interact with people is double. Right. And then on the other side, like we see it, and another stat to kind of throw out, here, I'll play a little guessing game. What do you think the click-through rate is on an ad? Like if an ad says stay at this hotel or buy the software or whatever, what do you think the percent is on like the follow through?
I mean, like under 1% or something like that. That's my guess.
You have a guess? Okay, with Nick, less than a
almost
percent.
like 0.0. I would say in the 0.0s almost.
Okay, so the best in the world have 3%.
Yeah.
Okay. On a referral, if Adam said go stay here, or if Pete said go stay here, or if anyone that's listening to this and Adam recommended, I know what happens when Adam recommends stuff. So like, what do you think is the referral rate that if someone you trust recommends something, what's the likelihood you go stay at the hotel, eat at the restaurant, buy the software?
Like if I'm like I'm going to Tuscany and you were to say stay at this hotel, I'm 100% staying there.
Okay, so like 100% Pete.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna look at it. Like if it's
I wouldn't either. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I trust your taste. Like you were sort of have a similar vibe. You just went there and stayed in that hotel and said it's great. Like I'm not
going to waste my time to go double click on your work. So like in the chat, we have 75, 80. It's about 75%. And yet 95% of marketing dollars are spent on the first part. And very few dollars are allocated to referrals. And organic social is essentially a referral business. That's what it is. Yeah. And so it's wild to me that there's this arbitrage in the market of how dollars get spent versus the ROI that you get. The problem with it is, how do you go measure that hotel that you showed up at that came from me? And so that's where it gets so hard, because a lot of companies and a lot of CEOs want to know, well, what's the ROI? And my response is, well, how do you measure a relationship? Why do you have friends? Why do you invest in relationships? Why do we do anything in real life? There must be an ROI to it. And there is on social. It just takes a minute. And I think there's just such an untapped opportunity there.
There really is like that. We talk about it too, that it's like this magic. There's almost like no other word for it than like the level of trust that people and affinity that people build for you is it's immeasurable, it's literally magical. And there's just this weird, not weird, but I think what the thing you're saying, Reed, it's like because executives and people want that, like, I mean, they want it to run through a spreadsheet, right? And understand how, if they manipulate X, how's it going to affect Y? And with social, like, it's just not that attributable. Like, there's almost like just too much fairy dust in the air around the channel. And I think that's why, like, email and some of these other channels have gotten so saturated and noisy, because it's like, well, that was the most, sort of predictable, attributable channel. But yeah, it's like that's what people are gravitated towards. And really, like, if you look at all the oversaturated channels, they kind of fit that.
And the math supports it. Like, we did this test on our internal stuff that we just started launching with customers, but the open rate on email, I don't know, 15-20%, like, who has like some of the best email open rate. What do you think the open rate is on a DM?
Again, 90, like something, like,
And the click-through rate is in the 80s. And so it's just like, okay, you can keep optimizing email. Love that for you. Or maybe we can try something where everybody is spending 3.5 hours a day, 5 billion people across the world.
totally. Well, we only have 9 minutes left. Can we pivot to some tactical stuff that
Yeah.
applies to very early stage startups related to social listening, AI? Like, what should we be doing?
Yeah. I think it's really similar to what enterprise should be doing. And I think it's figuring out who's your ICP, who's your ideal customer profile, right? And ideally, when you're smaller, you can actually have a more tactical list and figuring out. So if you have 10 deals that you want to bring in, who are the people? Start whatever the polite version of stalking them is. I can't think of the nice word for that.
Start stalking them.
Like, but in a nice, friendly way,
Here
not
first.
creepy, not in a creepy way. But start listening to them, right? What are they talking about? What are they liking? What are they watching? What are they posting on? How do you start engaging? And again, so much of it is, and Adam talked about this and I did as well, but like, because we saw each other on digital, it felt just so natural to know each other in person. And so how do you start building that so they see you 12 times, 7 to 12 times, right? Is kind of the magic number of people feeling like they know you. And so you can be really targeted. Two is really be targeted with your content. We did all this research at Hootsuite from surveying people. And one of the things that was really mind boggling is that 65% of companies, the majority of companies, their content talks about their brand 65% of the time.
Yeah.
Like,
what is your number for both of you?
And by the way, can we say what's wrong with that? Like, yeah.
I mean,
So back to like why people are on social, right? Like, nobody is on, let's talk about LinkedIn. And by the way, do you just post on LinkedIn, or are you putting these on like TikTok?
I can only handle LinkedIn. I don't have enough of me to go around.
Yeah, no, here you. We've made various forays into trying other channels, and it's just like this LinkedIn.
I think if I went down the TikTok route, I would never come back. I would
Yeah.
just
Firing myself as CEO, rehiring myself as
like all day long. I would just never get out of there.
Yeah. So this point comes up whenever we talk about social, like if we were having people submit posts for our review, 1 out of every 3 would be somebody announcing a set of features that they just launched. They'd be
like that is the biggest no-no.
They'd be
Like,
like,
just
why
don't do it.
isn't this getting any love?
Don't do it. Don't do your
Right.
product releases. Don't do your awards.
Yeah.
Don't do like your launches. And here's my like response on how many launches do you follow? How many product launches have you read and you're like, ooh, wow. I don't even read the iPhone launches. I just go watch a Mr. Beast video. Like, nobody's doing that. Like, why do you think all of a sudden your content, the whole world's going to stop and pay attention?
Yeah. It's like a total, but it's
a buzzkill.
It's just like the opposite of how PR used to work, right? Because that would get picked up, and then
the press release. Yes.
You put it on your website, and then you have news.
Who cares?
Yeah. But like, there's this idea that like, okay, I need to be a publisher, I need to be a media brand, and like, you need to make content for your audience, like
that they care about, and like, you want
right.
to do product release.
Totally.
I love that for you. Have a customer talk about why they love it. Show me something that's interesting. Put a problem on there and show me how you're going to solve it. Like that.
It's interesting, right? Don't just show me something, right?
Yeah,
like
tell me today we're launching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And my friend writes novels and he's like really, really good at it. He had like a Pulitzer Prize finalist book. And like he says in his career, for the first 10 years, he was only writing for himself and he wasn't writing for his audience. And like he just when I started making content, he's like, this is a weird thing to say, but like I wasn't writing for my audience for the first 10 years. And the second that I realized that I had to, like everything changed. He's like, just make sure when you're doing all this shit, like you have a very clear idea of who your audience is and that you are doing this for them,
And the content pillars
not
that they
you.
care
Right?
about.
Like
Totally.
there's a nice creative benefit for yourself of doing it, but like
And send that to your mom or your
yeah,
loved ones,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
great.
it is being an artist is about serving your audience. That's the only way you are going to like be able to like get this to have any momentum.
Totally. And like one of the rules that we share with our customers all the time on the enterprise level is that it is a 9-to-1 ratio. So you should give your audience 9 times before you ask to take once. And
Yeah.
an ask is a product demo, a release, an award, something where it's like they're not learning something, but 9 times out of 10, you should be giving them a fun fact. And that goes if you are a CPG brand, a software brand, anything like you have facts and insight in your business. Teach people something, like give them something to learn and they'll keep coming back. Like part of why that post of yours performed so well is you did all this market analysis, you came with data, like people were learning, like, and they could take that and apply it to different parts of their life.
Ooh, and another governing principle that just came to mind. I love saying this about LinkedIn. It's like edutainment. Equal parts, right? It has to be edu. I mean, you can have some stuff that's strictly entertainment, but like if it's only entertainment, it's not going to work on this platform, right?
Yeah.
That's for other. Mr. Beast is not on LinkedIn. Uh, but it can't just be education either, right? Like it has to be. And one of these comments above was like, okay, so where do I announce my product releases? And like the way I like to think about the way I'm approaching, and maybe my media brand is unique, maybe it's not, I don't know. But like this is just how I'm thinking about it, and I'm telling you. So I like to think of it as this drama that is unfolding in front of everybody.
Oh, it's you create drama,
Yeah,
Adam. There's real drama. It's not in your head. It's real. And we love it.
RB2B is just a character in this drama. And like if I want to announce, if I want to talk about RB2B, I talk about it like it's some like annoying teenage son that's just in my way and like the churn's a fucking problem and like I can't get it to like, I can't get like my pricing right and like I just need like I don't know what to do and like
But I also think it's
then I'll
because you're
and then
not
I'll
trying
slip
to
in and then I'll like slip in the three things that we added that I hope fix it.
yeah.
Right. But it's like this kind of hero's journey to that. It's like there was this disaster. I didn't know what to do about it. I was asking everybody for help. It sucked or whatever. And then like I'm hoping these things.
But you're also okay being vulnerable, Adam, and I think that's a big part of it.
Well, it certainly helps on social.
It helps a lot. But
A
like
lot
also
of people-
the other thing you said that like of the listening and Claude you dropped in there and it's like a lot most of the chat GPTs, Claude, OpenAI, they don't have relevant social media information. All of that is kind of a year old. So there's not a lot of real time. So if you do have access to kind of like and I don't think we do it for free, but if we don't, sorry, use the free ones that are a year old. But if you can kind of pay for the small thing, like use like a GPT that's like social driven. And I think we're the only ones on the market, but if you're not, then use Claude. It's fine. It'll be a little old, but it'll give you ideas. But like the listening piece is huge because then you can marry it with the vulnerability to your point, right? Because then you're constantly thinking, what is it that your audience wants to hear?
Love that.
It's all about the who. That's the when I first started working with Alec, who's the LinkedIn consultant of Adams. First question he was also would always ask me, who exactly is this for? Like not just, oh, this is for B2B, it's for marketers. It's like who exactly is it for? And I think another great principle that you guys have both touched on during this session and live it out in the way that you communicate out to the world on LinkedIn is like you write for the scrollers, you write for the habit of the people. A lot of people write assuming that people are going to read every single word that they wrote down on the page. The same thing goes for your website copy. It goes for everything, right? Like people are here to scroll. They're here to, they're about to leave at any second when they're reading your stuff. And the goal of your post is to continue buying their attention. And you both do a great job at that. So I
Adam, I love that you are who you are, no matter what medium we get you in.
Well, the
Pleasure.
feeling is mutual. I can't wait to hang out in real life again.
Me
I'm gonna
too.
hit you up on WhatsApp to
Good.
and to have a
I
discussion.
love it. And by the way, the drama, keep it coming. We love it.
Well,
We all know what posts we're talking about.
I'll try. I'll try.
Thank you so much for joining on the session, taking an hour out of your day.
Yeah, this is great. I just really enjoyed our chat right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna post.
By the way, I dropped her LinkedIn. Follow her. I dropped Hootsuite. Check it out. They have an SMB version. Use that playbook. If you cut, so it's customer list. Figure out what they're doing on social. Listen to it. Engage with it, and then it's going to make it a lot easier to go and connect with them. DM them instead of 15% open rate. It's going to be 90. Basic playbook, right?
Basic. That's how you get to be multi-billion dollars. I want everyone in this chat to get to multi-billion.
That's the goal, and we all can, right? Who's getting to a billion?
I genuinely believe that, like, especially in the world today, like the barriers to getting there are a lot less.
For sure, for sure. Well,
Chris says it's done, so that's awesome.
done and done.
Well, we hope you'll come back. Thank you so much for joining, folks.
Thanks for having me. It's great talking with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, we can't wait to see your audience continue to grow and your business grow and all that good stuff. Folks, recording will be live tomorrow. I'm going to post a little cheat sheet with all of Arena's great takeaways today. We'll see you next week. We got Puka Mal, who's the CEO of Security Pal. So we'll be back next week. Thank you all for joining. Have a great day.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye everyone.